Using the Goddess of Love template, Venus, we're going to shade around the inside edge of the face, neck and shoulder, and we're going to be using a tan pencil. I happen to be using a Sanguine, it's a Polychromos, but any brand, any shade that's kind of tan, light brown will work. I'm also going to be using Vaseline, and you can use these cottons for the face, regular small cotton balls, or even Q-tips for the blending technique. Okay, so we're gonna start going around the inside edge of the face, and notice how far back I'm holding the pencil, and I'm able to control it nicely by turning the page and using my wrist to move back and forth. I'm able to really get some color down. Now the trick is not to go heavy and to let the repetition create the mark all the way around. We're going to be adding cheekbones. We're going to add the bridge of the nose and the lips on top. We're going to shape that, and then we're going to fill in with color. So what we're doing is just shading around the inside edge to get that color. Then we're going to go inward just a little bit lighter in pressure. So we want a lighter application, almost like a 1/2 inch or so inward. So it's a gradient from heavier pressure to lighter to lightest, and let it disappear. That's how you get a nice little gradient. And I am going to trace the features of the face, including the eyebrows, holding my pencil far back so I don't create heavy lines. I'm able to remain loose. It's all about loose realism. We're not trying to compete with the camera. And here I am adding soft marks to represent that bridge on one side. And she is turned, her head is tilted a little to her right, our left. And we are going to darken it just a hair. Again, we're going to trace the features of the face. We may give her a different eye color. I'm just going to get a little of this warm, the sanguine color around the iris very lightly. Notice that this is a circle, and this little triangle is a tear duct. So we have a lot of basic shapes in art. We're going to trace around and around, and we're not going to be too precious with our marks. 1/2 circle for the tip of the nose. She doesn't have one. We also need to shape that. Here's a little bit of the lower lid. We forget we have lower lids. We're tracing and adding lower lids. A little bit of bridge on this side, a little lighter because the light's coming in from this side, from our right. Gonna trace around the wings of the nose, known as the alas, and keeping it very loose. We're going into the neck, a little pressure, lighter as you go inward towards the light. So heavier, a little bit heavier pressure as you go into the shadowed areas, and as you come into the light, you lift a little bit. So you see that gradient. And we're going to do that on the shadow on the neck cast by the jaw, a little bit on the chin, under the chin, and jaw on this side. Once again, turning my paper so my hand is comfortable and I have more control. Really drawing more with the wrist. I'm not doing this. I'm not drawing with my fingers. I'm holding my pencil far back, and it allows me to create marks without heavy lines. So the shoulder, same thing. We're not worrying about a clavicle. Not doing too much anatomy. This is a piece of hair. It could be a shoulder, but it should be a piece of hair. I'm just going to leave it there to separate it from the skin and just give her a soft touch on the neck. Okay, let's get into, we got those eyes. Let's get into the lips. So right below the nose, the center of the nose, and notice she is at a tilt. So we are going to have, let's just create a curved line right there, right below, starting, where the nostril on our left appears, go straight down at an angle. And we're going to give her a little curved line, and then we're going to join everything together. Put some pressure in the area that goes in the mouth. and the corners of the mouth, and slightly color the top. We may add a different color, like a red orange on top of this later, or any pinks. That'll be your choice. So right now I'm just adding some of this color for balance and harmony to give her some of that nice warmth. Right here we have a bone. I'm going to address that a little bit in here as well. So that's the temple. Here I'm creating the cheekbone. So she's got it on this side. We really want to see more of it on this side. However, there's a lot of light hitting her, so we're going to go light, but we do want to address it. And then we're going to lighten the pressure as we go towards the light. A little heavier, and it's right between the eye and the jaw, right in the middle, towards the hairline, just creating random ovals and circles so you don't make heavy lines. And then soften it up as you go inward. The beauty of colored pencils is in the blending and layering. You'll find you get a lot from these pencils. And now I'm going to bring the Vaseline in, put it on my cotton, and blend in the direction of your marks. So we will get a nice transition, more of a watercolor effect. Make sure you slow down around those eyes. And this is how you start. And then you can kind of play around and go around, but you get your first initial marks blended nicely. So you have a nice painterly effect with colored pencils. So what's happening is we're sliding that pigment around. We're getting rid of the binder that holds the pencils together. You may want to revisit with a little bit of this, the color that you used, and go lighter this time. You can even blend with your fingers because you have enough of that Vaseline in there as a solvent. Now remember, if you're using paper like copy paper, that's 20-pound Prima paper, that's going to be harder to blend with the Vaseline. It'd probably be a little bit more tricky. You really want to use cardstock so you don't end up with, a greasy portrait. Once again, render that bridge of the nose. And we will soften up around the edges, adding a little bit more here. And later we'll go into the eyes with color. You will use the color of your choice, and just want to get you started with this technique, which is a lovely blending technique, and it gets done quickly, as you can see. Not sure if I'm going to add yellows and blues to give her more of a greenish color for the eyes, blue-green, since she is the goddess of love, emerging from the sea. So that's the technique. And what you do with the hair for harmony and balance is you're also going to want to use the brown that you've used for the skin, the warm brown color, and use it in your darkest areas of the hair. Then you're going to create your own flowing hair. You just kind of go and create some flowing marks and darken the areas around the face, the parts that go in the roots and around the contour. As it goes under, you're going to press harder, creating lines that represent strands of hair. Softer in the center where the light hits it the most. Heavier under this piece of hair. Under this piece of hair here, you add your golds or yellows on top. A dark yellow and ochre would be nice. And then you can blend once again with the Vaseline and add additional marks and darken your dark areas that are in shadow, the roots of the hair, around the face, the parts that go in and under. And there you have it.